Greetings, church family. I come to you today with a problem. I hate to do that to you on a Wednesday, but it's a good problem to have, but a problem nonetheless. You see, when all of this COVID stuff started and we had to start really pivoting and doing ministry in a reduced way, a lot of my preacher friends and I would get to talking. And we always thought it would be shorter than it was. We never thought it would last a year or more, as we thought about protocols and implications and all of that fun stuff that keeps preachers up at night. One of my preacher friends asked the question, what happens if the people don't come back? That kind of panicked me. It's not something that I had thought about. And I thought, is that something that I should worry about? Well, this past few weeks, we've learned that was an unfounded fear. People have started coming back as the vaccines have rolled out. Folks have shown up in greater numbers. Easter was a wonderful blessing for us, and I anticipate that going forward, we'll continue to move back towards our pre-COVID attendance numbers. My preacher friend, though, I think, asked the wrong question. He asked, what happens if the people don't come back in general? But the thing that I've seen is different than that as we've gotten towards the end of this COVID stuff, and that's this. What happens when our desire to restart ministry outpaces our volunteers' desire to come back and serve? Over the last few months, as we've started back ministries and tried to make things available, people have openly and gladly received that and been excited, especially after they complained for several months that we didn't have it. The problem is, to have all those ministries has always required a great number of volunteers in our church. Well, the volunteers hadn't shown back up. Our attendees have shown up, our children have shown up, our youth have shown up, but the volunteers have been lagging behind, and I understand that. There's a lot of fear and anxiety about COVID, and there's a lot of routine that's been thrown off as well. But the area I wanted to come to talk to you about this morning was our children's ministry. God has blessed us once again with more and more and more babies, lots of babies, lots of new families that have small children. That is a tremendous thing, friends, and we ought to celebrate that from the rooftops. But it brings with it issues for the church. For instance, we have a shortage of volunteers in the nursery. Emily, several weeks ago, put out the appeal for folks to volunteer for a Sunday a month. If you're willing to take one Sunday a month in a service, to let her know. Well, the response hasn't been great, folks. And it's put us into a pretty bad position as far as covering the nursery. So I'm not going to get into all the details of everything and try to lay this guilt trip on you. I'm just going to say, if we want to be a church that has young families, if we want to be a church that ministers to the smallest of God's creation, we need you to serve. So I need you to prayerfully consider if you're ready to come back. If you're ready to come back and serve alongside our children's ministry department. If you are, will you email Emily? Will you call Emily? Will you let her know in some way that you'll take a week a month, or that you'll fill in and sub when needed, or that you'll take more than one weekend a month? Whatever you want to do, just let us know, because we need to be a church that takes care of our little ones. It's my hope and my prayer that this video will be enough. If it's not, friends, one Sunday you may see me leave worship and preaching to go sit in the nursery, because that's how important I think it is. I don't want to have to do that just because I think preaching is one of my responsibilities, but caring for the least and the tiniest is part of who we are. So will you serve? Will you get in touch with Emily? And will you let our nursery be the best that it can be? I hope so. God bless.